I'm Stephen, USSR Robinson, and you're watching Sporting Icons. Papa!
Right, Stephen Robinson, good to see you again, my man.
Martin, you alright, mate?
I'm very well, thank you very much. So, you've just done how many rounds of body sparring there?
12, 13, 15, 18, I lost count, not sure.
That was a lot, wasn't it? So how would you sum up this year then? Obviously, go back to like this time last year, there was like a lockdown and you were hitting some pretty low places at times and that as well. It's been a bit of a turbulent year, highs and lows.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, July time, February I had quit, then June come along and I had getting back into it, obviously signed a contract with Black Flash that didn't go to plan. Fight got pulled in July. Told Mark I'm done. Moved up with Mark. Psychologically in a bad place, mentally in a bad place, physically I just couldn't be arsed. I just give up and just didn't want to box anymore. Just wanted to make some money and get back on my feet after a terrible 18 months and no fights and being promised this, being promised that, and then August come along and we got a phone call off Sky and signed a four fight deal with Sky and obviously fought for Sky in October, done what I needed to do, and good things are coming and Sky seem hopeful, I'm hopeful, and we're back focused and minds on and finishing the year on a high and looking to get back out soon. Everything just the whole phrase never give up really went played its part, and like I say, mentally I was in a bad place, I was in a dark place, and I put all my eggs in one basket 3 years ago and threw everything away to be where I was, and then obviously COVID hit, and not just for me, not just for boxers, but I think for everybody, any businessman, anybody who had a business, had a dream, had a hope, had a plan, anybody who worked full, it was an awful time, and hopefully we're coming to the back end of it, but no one knows.
I mean, you're hoping to finish the year with another fight, but which was meant to be on the Eubank Williams one, Cardiff, which was for December 11, right?
19th, I think.
The 19th, was it?
Might have been,
and now that's been changed to January 29.
yeah.
Do you know if you're on that card or yet or not?
Again, so the British Boxing Board have come out and said that they're making a decision on the 4th or the 5th whether any shows are going to go ahead in January. So Eubank might be, this is this could be breaking news, or it could be pulled again. Depending on the British Boxing Board's announcement, I think Sky have got some decisions to make on whether or not anything's going to go ahead in January, and if it's going to be behind closed doors, if there's going to be allowed fans there. They're not going to hide Brook on a massive show like that behind closed doors, so that'll get rescheduled. I can't see them hiring the Taylor card and the Eubank card behind closed doors, so I think it all depends on this Omicron and Boris's announcements and the British Boxing Board's announcements. But there's nothing on paper. I'm fighting on the 12th of February. The venue's not yet confirmed. On paper, that's what we've been told. That's going to be on the Savannah Marshall and the Huey Fury card. We've all been told 12th of February, but again, nobody knows what's going on. If the 12th of February doesn't go ahead, then ideally I want to be on the Brook or the Josh Taylor, or if I could be on the Eubank and then be on the Josh Taylor, great, get 2 out. No reason why not. So we'll just have to see on obviously what's going on with the British Boxing Board and Boris.
So are you looking for 2022 to be as active as you possibly can? I mean, how many fights ideally would you like?
Realistically, injury-free, 5 or 6. Which will be every few months. That's obviously that can be done, especially on something as big as Sky and with Boxer. It's it's not just small hall shows, and they're going to be very, very active next year from what I've heard. So ideally, I want to get the 6 out.
So are you looking at 2022 just to get active and busy, and then early 2023 look at the domestic titles?
Again, that's not something that is in my power. That's to do with Sky and with Mark, my manager, and what just said being my coach. It's that's there. That I can sit and say, yeah, I want to fight in June or July for an English title, or but is that going to happen? I don't know. There's a few. I think it's the Europeans vacated at the minute, and obviously if Joe Joyce steps up, the British and the Commonwealth's going to be vacated, and who's going to is Gorman and Wardley going to fight for that, which will then vacate the English. So there's a lot, and obviously it goes on purse bids, and whether or not Eddie Hearn wants Johnny Fisher to fight for it, and who bids the highest on the purse bids between Sky and the Zone, and there's a lot more to it than yes, I want to fight for this. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. We don't just get a say and it happens. There's a lot more goes on behind the scenes.
Now online, obviously, on my channel, like whenever I talk about you in the comment section, people always say that they want to see you versus Babbage, they want to see you versus Johnny Fisher, and all that kind of stuff. Which of course you want to see all that at some point, but it needs to be a little bit more than for an English title, surely.
Yeah, obviously I've signed a 4-fight deal with Sky, and we're there when it comes to purses, and for a fight like that with two up-and-coming prospects who are both at the time hopefully going to be 7-8-0, that person needs to be there, whether it be for a title or not. That person needs to be there, and at the end of the day, it's as Mark said earlier on in a podcast that we're doing, that boxing is a sport, but at the same time it's a business. I'm the sportsman, I'm the fighter, I'll fight anyone. That's why you've got a manager. He's the businessman. He'll come to a conclusion of whether or not that fight's ready, whether or not the purse is right, whether or not everything is right before I go in, because as a fighter you'll fight anyone, and at any point, but that's where your manager comes in.
So get these fights out of the way then. As I said before, Mark, he's guiding your career, and he's never done anything afoot yet, because it seems that he's been guiding you in the right direction, and he's always said that he ain't going to push you faster than you need to be. It's all going to be at the right pace for the right money and all that kind of thing. But do you personally, you want all the domestic? You actually want to start off with the English, or would you go straight for a British? What would you do? Personally,
I'd like to go. Listen, it's funny because there's like the left side of your brain and the right side of the brain, and you read comments, and some comments are going, oh, he's too old, he started too late, he's this, he's that, and the right side of your brain's thinking, well, are you? You're 30-year-old, you've only had 4 fights, and then the other side of the brain's going, well, actually, look at what Joe Joyce has done, a 35-year-old, look at what Povetkin's done, look at what Pulev's done, look at the likes of Dillian White and stuff. They're hitting 34, 35, 36. You've still got 5-6 years to get to where you are, and it's not my fault COVID's come along. So you get all these people commenting, putting doubt in your head, telling you're too old, and one side of the brain's going, maybe you are. When you look at the likes of Dubois, and, you look at the likes of Nathan Gorman, who are 24, 25, and Hughie Fury, 27, 28, and you think, well, actually, Omar, but I turned pro 27. I can't help the fact COVID's knocked 2 year back, and like I say, am I too old to fight for an English and have 3 or 4 with an English, and then fight for a British that'll take us to 33, get the British at 33, look at the Commonwealth, look at the European, and then look at a higher title at 35, 36? Am I too old to do that? Will that happen? Will I be, there's so much doubt in your head of comments and of people, and then the other side of the brain's telling you, well, there's so many people done it. So the science has come along so much that, a lot of people think that you have to turn pro 21 and you retire at 28. Look, going off boxing, look at the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and stuff, 10 years ago you would have never seen a footballer at 38 absolutely bossing it. And it's the same as, look at Pulev, look at Povetkin. They're still getting, obviously Povetkin's retired now, but, Pulev's transferred over to that new sport, and you'll be making massive amounts of money. And you've got Joe Joyce, who's in contention of a massive title fight, Fraser Clark. So people don't realise that I had a good amateur pedigree. I'm not one of these that's just turned over and hoping that, I'll be a pro boxer, I'll turn over. I boxed for my country and stuff, represented England, and so listen, whatever sky and whatever mark's got in place, I'm happy just to go with. And if they want me to fight for an English first, they want me to fight for an English first. If that they want us to fight straight in for a British, then that's up to them. But like I say, with me, it's self-doubt and thinking, oh, am I too old? Are these people commenting saying, oh, he's too old, he's this, he's that?
But isn't it about mileage on the clock though? You don't have miles on the clock, do you?
I don't. I'm fortunate that I started boxing quite late, and I haven't got loads of miles on the clock, and I'm quite fortunate that, touch wood, I've never picked up an injury ever, and that's playing at a high level of football, and then transitioned over to boxing and training twice a day, every day, and I've never, ever picked up a rotator cuff injury, picked up a back injury. I'm 6'7" and 70.5 stone. So, you'd think that I would have picked up a niggle along the way, and like I say, other than a broken rib, I've never, ever picked up an injury, touch wood. So going forward, I'm hoping that, like you say, the miles aren't on the clock, and I've got plenty left in the tank. I live the right way. I don't drink. I don't go out. I eat well, and so it's not a hobby. It's a job, and it's a career.
Do you still enjoy it as much now as you always have?
I ask if you had have asked us that question in July, I would have said I absolutely hate everything about it. Hate everything about training. Coming in with no path, no guidance, nothing to look forward to. There was no light at the end of the tunnel. And then September, I got that fire back, I got that drive back, I got that love back, and me and Mark aren't just boxer and manager, boxer and coach, and me and Giuseppe, it's a family, with Bazzy, with Georgia, we're a family down here, and there's never a time where I come in and if I feel like shit, they'll pick us up. Training's my escape from the badness that's out there at the minute, and with everything that's going on. And so going forward, that question, I can honestly say that I'm absolutely loving everything about training at the minute.
So after all the hardships for earlier on in the year, now you're a Sky Sports fighter, do you now look back and go, you know what, a lot of that was worth it now?
Yeah. I think I'm a big believer in hard work and commitment, and it's a bit cliche, but there's a saying that, if you can dream it, you can do it. And for me, I've always, I haven't had, I don't really talk about the upbringing that I've had and where I'm from and this and that, because it's very cliche for boxing. I come from a council estate, you were put out in the street, and if you didn't fight, you had nothing, and all you had to do was fight. It's very cliche, so I don't want to go down that path. I don't want to go down that route. I don't want to talk about that, but my escape was football. That got me away from a path that could have led us down the wrong route. And I found football, and I found a passion, I found a love for football. I was focused on that, very, very, very focused on football, and that focus is transitioned over to boxing, and everything that I want to do, I want to do it for my family. I want to make sure that they're sorted because they give me everything they possibly could growing up, and I want to do it for everyone who doesn't believe in themselves, who just the average person out there, the normal person who's sitting on the sofa going, well, I'm 30, I can't go and join a football team, I can't go and join a cricket team, I can't go and join the rugby team, I can't apply for that job because there's somebody better than us, but you can. You can. There's no reason why anybody can't do nothing, and the only person who can tell you can't is yourself. And I'm a big believer of if you want something and you're willing to train hard, you're willing to work hard, you're willing to push forward, whether it be in sport, whether it be in work, whether it be in anything, that you can do it. And that's just played into place because Ben Shalom said it in an interview. He said, we are blessed and we are so grateful that Stephen's never been picked up. And there's been talks with Warren, there's been talks with her, Mark's had conversations, and they've said they're going to sign, they've said this, they've said that, and the money's not right, and like I say, it's not just a sport, it's a business. And Mark is an unbelievable businessman, and I'm so glad that I've got him by the side, because I could have been in a very bad place if things had went ahead in July and without Mark.
Okay, so let's finish up then with, obviously there's a lot of fights that people want to see you in. Just to clarify for everybody who thinks that maybe you don't want them, you do want all of them. You want the Babbage, you want the Nick Campbells, you want the Dubois and that at some point.
Definitely. I mean, like I say, I wouldn't be in the sport if I didn't believe in myself. I wouldn't be in the sport if I didn't. If I look at Dubois, if I look at Babbage, if I look at Johnny Fisher, if I look at these kids and go, I couldn't beat them. Why be here? Why be in the sport where you don't believe in your ability and you believe that people who are on the same path as you are going to beat you? So, people who sit and watch me fights and who sit and criticise and who, these critics on the back of a laptop or an iPad or the mobile phones, they might say, oh, he's got no chance, he's shit, he's this, he's that, and that's fair enough. I don't mind, the critics saying that and that, what have you, but for me, I want any fight that's available, and that's why I need the likes of Mark and Sky to keep us focused, to keep us on the right path, and when that fight comes, I know I'll be ready, and I know that I'll get that W.
You've just reminded me of something here. Since the COVID, the lockdown and everything, would it be fair to say that Northeast boxing is now one of the hotbeds of the United Kingdom, and you are at the top of that?
I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable because Newcastle has been looked past so much, and nobody wanted to sign Northeast fighters. Nobody, for some reason, and that goes to say the same with look what's happening in the football world at the minute. Every single team is point blank said we don't want to sell players to Newcastle, we don't want to see Newcastle do well. They're putting in complaints. Nobody wants to. For some reason, we're such a proud city, a proud nation, and nobody wants to see Newcastle people do well, but in football and in boxing, it's our time. You just have to look. You've got Luke and Pat who've just signed. You've got Savannah, a world champion. You've got Georgia, who's competed for GB at every level. You've got Callum French, who's just turned over, who's competed. Cyrus Patterson. You've got myself, and there's even on the smaller shows, and then you've got people like Robert Ismay who's back now 10-0, and he's just knocked somebody out who doesn't isn't a kid who gets stopped a lot. So the likes of Robert Ismay and stuff deserves a chance. on one, got a big signing of Sky up at Ellingham, and get him an English title at cruiserweight, and see where he can get to. And you've got the likes of Webster and stuff who are knocking people out left, right, and centre, and even the smaller hole people who are coming up, they're doing phenomenally well as well. And Troy Williams, unbelievable, and it's from the people who are at the bottom to the people who are building up to the people who are already at the top, like Ritson and stuff. I think Newcastle, it's something big is coming to Newcastle soon. Hopefully, it's got to.
Well, I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm sure you are too. All right, Steve, I shall let you crack on with the rest of your day. Enjoy your New Year. Happy New Year, of course, to you.
All the best to everybody watching. Hope you had a fantastic Christmas. Hopefully Boris doesn't come and change anything and mess it up for us all. But Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for watching Martin's podcasts and Sport and Icons, and watching my podcasts, and I appreciate it, and all the best.